What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Kofi Kingston, aka 1/3 of the New Day. You're not gonna say it with me, sir? Yeah, come on, you better participate. Let's try it again. 1/3 of the New Day, and you are watching The Young and the Wrestlers. Ha 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 ha.
Welcome to The Young and the Wrestlers, the Pop Culture's WWE podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Betson, alongside...
I'm showcasing the Immortals. I'm Jem. Sorry, I had to.
This is our WrestleMania review / recap / I just want to talk about WrestleMania. This is one of a special episode of us. It comes at a different time, but you can normally listen to us on Tuesdays, 8 a.m., podcast services, 9 a.m. on those YouTubes to talk all things SmackDown. 9 a.m. Thursdays, 8 a.m. podcast services, 9 a.m. YouTubes as we talk Raw. But if you want to join that wrestling conversation, head over to facebook.com/groups/thepopculturist. You can also talk to us on Twitter, Discord, Instagram. All those links are in the down below area. And as Jem reminded me before we started recording here, I haven't fixed the Discord link yet. So the Discord link down there, probably not working right now. I'm sorry about that. I'll get it sorted. But if you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures where you can watch Jem and I record this show live. You can get in the chat and get all involved, just like Josh is laughing very hard at your the mention of your Immortals.
Thank you.
That's
I'm
true.
Proud of that one. It came to me very momentarily.
That's pretty fantastic, actually. Pretty fantastic. But one thing we'd like you to do is we'll ask if you could be ever so kind to share the conversation. Tell your friends, tell your family, let them know about this here little podcast where we dive deep and dirty into the storylines and the feuds of WrestleMania, really showcasing the soap opera nature of the company, the business.
Ooh, yeah.
And of course, I know it's tough times, but if you are able to support us financially, you can head over to patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as you can buy merchandise at popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. Jem, how are you after this extensive 2 days of WrestleMania?
I am in 1080 HD.
You are. Your internet's your internet's a little garbage, so you're coming to your 1080p when if the internet kicks in a little bit. So you are in high definition.
Better camera quality.
That's right. I'm
good.
It's not just this ugly mug in HD. You get this face to my right, and you are glad that it's in HD because you're gonna want to see all of it.
Yeah.
That's right.
High def. Thanks to my housemate, he lent me his webcam, which is awesome. So I've got a bit of high quality going on there. By the end of this month, I will have better internet, which is nice. I am actually super hyped though.
Yeah,
this was amazing, and I'm super hyped to talk about it. So tell me how you are, so we can move on.
I'm good, man. I'm good. So I did, even though my job is still going in the current quarantine, isolation, pandemic situations, I did still take today off. I made sure to take today off because I booked this like 3 months ago, and they're like, because this week is supposed to be a week off for my clients because they work on like a trimester basis. And I was like, no, and they're like, hey, you still want to work this? Like, I still want to work this week. Can I have the week? And they're like, you probably should take the week off. You could really use the break. I'm like, all right, I'm still taking Monday off and I'll come work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They're like, yeah, it's fine. Like, yes.
Oh, nice.
So I still get my week of work and I got to have a day off for WrestleMania. But no, I'm super pumped, man. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed myself over the last 2 days. Mm-hmm. It wasn't quite the same watching without my friends, without you here, Jem. You know, it's just, it wasn't entirely the same. However, I did still watch it alongside my friends. I had Dylan and Craig and you temporarily. So Craig just jumped in the chat right there.
Hello.
So we watched it through Discord. We cammed each other and we had a bit of a chat through. And then today I did the show. Yes, mate.
Mommy's being naughty with here.
Mum's being naughty.
Yeah.
Oh no, my son just broke in and told my mum to tell me that my wife's being naughty.
No.
It's not good. But I did do the show today. So we watched the day 2 with my friend Josh, fellow co-founder of the Pop Culturist. It was good to catch up with him. We haven't really caught up in a while.
Yeah.
But we'll go... Let's see. So Craig's gone, let me tell you what drew me over here. I
see what he did
We're
there,
going to get to
little
that.
fish.
Dash Gamer is here as well, as is Sandvi.
Hi,
He
Dash.
just says
Hi.
pay-per-view scream time.
Woo.
That's right. We're getting ready. And there's mention of the Fiend and John Cena match there by Christian. And we're going to get into it. We're going to get into that just a minute. Let's kick things off on day one. Day one is crazy times. Now, Jem, did you touch upon the kickoff shows at all in your
I did
notes?
not, because I did not watch them.
That's right. So I watched we'll cover both nights because not a whole lot happened. First, day one of kickoff show, there was a match between Drew Gulak and Cesaro. It was fine. Cesaro won. He did this weird, those little spinny doodahs. However, this time he put him on his shoulders and spat him around with no hands. And then just dropped him on his fucking face. So,
damn.
Yeah. So it's cool to see Cesaro get a win. Normally Cesaro does the whole, does a match and then loses.
Big old L.
But yeah, so it was nice to see him get the win. I really enjoyed that. And then on day two kickoff, we had Natalya and Liv Morgan have a match, which was pretty...
Really coming off Elimination Chamber when, Natalya was there, beating the shit out of Ruby Riott. Just you like that, Liv? And Liv's like, oh, yeah. And she's like, that could be you next. And Liv's like, oh, fuck. And you could hear it clear as day.
That's what... So, we did see, Liv Morgan with chain dents in her face from Shayna Baszler. Natalya had, a dent in... No, she didn't. Neither of them had that. But it's just, damage from elimination. Are you leave the door open? All right, thanks, bud. My son's trying to be helpful, I guess. So the kickoff shows were fine. Being only an hour, it was handy, and they're all pre-recorded, so they're very tight, quite nice video packages. And then those two little matches to sort of stick it in the middle was a nice touch. But day one kicked off.
So who won between Liv and Natalya?
Oh, sorry, Liv with a little sneaky roll up,
Hell yeah.
which was all good. So day one kicked off with the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. It was the Kabuki Warriors defending their titles against the Twisted Sisters, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. Not how I thought the night was going to start, or the morning was going to start for us. I don't think how the day was going to start.
Yeah, I was not expecting that either. So that was a really cool way to open the show. It was also awesome to see JBL on commentary. Now, JBL has been on commentary before. He is phenomenal at it, being a seasoned veteran in the wrestling industry. He's really good with words. He's also good at playing, because he was, I guess, commentating for the SmackDown side of things. He's also phenomenal at playing doing what
what Corey would normally do.
Corey Graves
be
does,
the heel
stirring
commentator,
the pot,
yeah.
creating shit, yeah. Absolutely phenomenal at that. Personally, I think this match was a bit longer than it needed to be, but it was phenomenal. Nikki Cross dominated this match. She really took charge in it. She really showed how powerful and how strong and how dominant she is, which ultimately led to them getting the win. So the titles have changed hands, and now once again, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
That's right. The first ever two-time WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Twisted Sisters. The result that I wanted. I enjoyed the match. I thought the match was great. I really enjoyed some of the attempts of the pin breaks here with Kyrie doing the big insane elbow right on Alexa Bliss's face. It was rad. I really enjoyed. Craig mentions it in the chat here. Nikki Cross hulking out was awesome.
Oh yeah, just ripping her.
She just out of nowhere just rips the shirt out and just starts going to town on everyone. Really enjoyed that. I'm a little devastated that even though I love Alexa Bliss, I'm on the record of loving Alexa Bliss. I am a little bit disappointed that Nikki wasn't allowed to get the win, as in to be the one to get the pin, even though she did the most work in the match. So it did end with a Twisted Sister from Alexa, Twisted Bliss.
Twisted Bliss. Yeah, which caught Kyrie's legs. It didn't even that's one thing that really sort of weaked me out about it.
I don't know.
It was it was on her bottom half.
Have you ever smashed your shin on a desk? I'm
but,
incapacitated. I've banged my
have you
leg. I'm
ever
like,
taken-
and then just I'm down and down and
Yeah,
out.
but taking knees to the ribs over taking a shin kick is like
That's true.
Needs to reset a lot.
I will admit I've never had a small woman thrown at my shins, so I cannot compare.
I've had a 4-year-old kick me in the ribs, and if that's anything to go by,
Oh yeah, my
I
son kicks the
reckon-
shit out of me all the time. That's unquestionable.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
no, I get
I
you.
reckon-
That would be way worse.
I make a valid point.
Absolutely way worse.
But overall, great match. Awesome to see the titles change hand, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do with them.
Yeah, I think it's certainly
Definitely puts it in the
certainly
right
a
light.
good move. Certainly a good move.
Although it was awesome to see Nikki and Kyrie getting most of the screen time this
Yeah.
time. Like, it was really good to see them showcased because they are phenomenal athletes. So.
And a smart move. So one of those things, we try to, when we do
the
pay.
emphasis has been so heavy on Asuka lately.
That's true. It's been so heavy with Asuka and Alexa. Like, they've been the sort of the big point. So Kyrie, look, we try to stick within kayfabe here because it's fun to play with them. We'll bend the rules a little bit today. But yeah, Kyrie has been off. She got married, so she's actually had some time. She's had some agreed time off. So that's why we haven't seen her. So it's cool to see her come here, play a big role, and same as Nikki, because it is that thing. I was remembering back in the day when they did pair up initially. We're like, this is gonna last like weeks, and then Alexa will turn. But no, it's been like nearly a year because it's been quite a long time. And they're still friends. They're still working together. So it's cool to see moments where Nikki steps out of the shadow of Alexa.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like that a lot because she is brilliant. She's absolutely brilliant. Like, there's a reason
100%.
she was called up from NXT back in 2019.
Yes.
So hell yeah.
Yeah, it was so good.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Any comments in the chat about this one? Josh Robinson says, Bliss Cross applesauce, yo.
Yes, I love that.
And Sandvie goes, go Kabuki hotties.
Oh, they definitely are attractive. I'm
That's
a
very
huge
true.
fan of Asuka.
Look, that's the
I
one
did
thing.
love.
Kyrie getting to be the Blue Pirate. Although she wasn't like in full original Sky Pirates costume, I'm glad they allowed her to be, rather than the sort of kimono that she would normally wear, like coming out as the pirate. Kimono, sorry. Kimono is a planet in Star Wars. So
Yeah.
that's accidentally racist.
One thing I did notice was that if you notice the back of Alexa Bliss's boots, they were blue and pink like Asuka's hair. There was lacing there, like and it was blue and pink like Asuka's hair.
Interesting. And there was a little bit of like the bow on there as well.
Oh yeah, like Kyrie making fun of her little bow, like stuck away, making fun of her, and then like Alexa doing the same back was really good. Some good back and forth between them, so it was really awesome.
It was good. It was like a surprisingly good way to kick off the night.
Yeah,
Like, it wasn't
definitely.
super hard or fast or intense or anything, but I still enjoyed it. I think it went alright.
Yeah, me too.
Next up was King Corbin versus Elias.
Which I was not expecting to happen after what happened on SmackDown.
Yeah, so after the minor attempted murder with sort of...
Exactly it. 15 feet to the concrete floor.
So Dash wanted to add, so Alexa boots are based off her Harley Quinn look she had when debuting on the main roster in 2016. I believe it's this same look as this little Loot Crate figure. They're all the same colours, so...
There you go. I don't know, it just looked exactly like Asuka's hair. So I thought,
Maybe that was sort of accidentally on purpose.
yeah, maybe. Happy accident. So yeah, King Corbin and Elias.
Yes, King Corbin and Elias. So it was interesting to see that. So King Corbin comes out, stands in the ring. He's like, "Yeah, I fucked him up. There's no chance. There's no chance he's coming out. No chance." Sorry, Josh. I've got to split listen to the rest tomorrow. Have a good show. Thank you, Josh. I'll be sure to check out Reverb when it drops. Hopefully, I think it's a couple of days. So he comes in. He's like, "Nah, he dead. He ain't coming." Strum.
like ring the bell, kick him out, like count him out, make me the winner. Like, let's just declare this match my win. And then you hear the strum, and Elias comes out, and Corbin goes after him, and he just clocks him with the guitar before the match even starts.
Yeah, so they had a bit of a bit of a bus on the ramp in before they even get into the ring, guitars and stuff, a whole bunch of hot mess. Get in the ring. Craig gets in the chat here. I didn't know who to boo for.
Yeah.
And that's certainly true. Like, in terms of this match, I had no investment going in this. Like, even though I've talked about my love for King Corbin, especially around the King of the Ring tournament, post then, I've really not been feeling him. And Elias is in the same boat. Because he is, at his core, like some sort of novelty act, I never really take him seriously.
Yeah. Look, I think the star of this match was definitely Jess, the referee.
Yeah,
Really
with her
putting
really...
Baron Corbin in her place. Real hardy.
I really enjoyed her from the diaphragm counts. Like, 1, 2, yeah. Like, that was deep. I really enjoyed that.
She's good. She's real good.
Yeah, no, but in terms of that, though, it kind of pretty much went as we expected. Elias did get the win with a roll-up. Big handful of pants in the roll-up, though, so it's a little bit questionable. As we know, roll-ups aren't definitive in WWE, so do you think we'll be seeing more of this one?
Unfortunately, yes. Oh, well.
Yeah, like this is where I kind of phased out. I think I may have played on my phone a little bit in this one.
Yeah, definitely sort of like a break match for sure.
But yeah, so
look,
go
I was
ahead.
happy to see Elias get the win.
Same.
Like I said, Baron Corbin tried to pull some sneaky, so it's only fair that Elias does the same thing back.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I don't really want it to go anywhere else. I'm over it, but we'll see what happens.
Chris in the chat goes, "Walk with Elias. You boo Corbin. He is for the bin."
Yes, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, well, there's a reason he's called Baron Corbin.
Oh. I do wonder, like, what they're going to do with Corbin now. Like, so he the last 2 feuds he's been a part of, he's lost, and that was Elias, and but prior to that was Roman Reigns. So it's a weird. Where is he going to go? Because even if we have a look at the women's tag team, it's like, well, yeah, they're now back in the hands of Alexa and Nikki, but what will happen next?
Well, obviously, like Alexa and Nikki, they have more showtime. They get out there more. They're more active in matches and things like that. So I definitely think we're going to see more title defenses from them. I'm expecting sooner rather than later the Iconics will be back for those titles.
Boom. One can only hope. One can only hope.
They will be back.
But yeah, same as Elias. I have no idea who's going to look at after this, but
I think Elias is going to go for the likes of like either possibly the Intercontinental Championship or the WWE Championship, somewhere like that.
I certainly wouldn't think he's main big belt ready, but
eventually, I think
mid-card I'm okay with.
It's one of those like, back in the day, Vince McMahon said, Drew McIntyre is not the big thing, and now he's competing for the WWE Championship. Universal, yep.
Ghost jumps in the chat and goes, Elias is buff as heck. That is true. Like, if when he takes all those scarves off, he's like 19 levels of shoulder muscle.
So jacked.
It's ridiculous.
Gorgeous. But he is like, many, many years ago, Vince McMahon said about Drew McIntyre, he'll be a main eventer. And he said the same thing about Elias. And I think Elias...
Oh, that's right. He was the number 1 acquisition for SmackDown.
He was, yeah. So I definitely think Elias is on that path to the main event. I think that's what they're working them up to here.
All right, next up, we had the Raw Women's Championship match. Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch. Same as you. I expected this way later in the card, if not main eventing the thing. However, it wasn't. It was third match in. It started fucking strong. It started so strong.
Yeah. It was exactly how I expected it to, because Shayna Baszler is so dominant and she's so strong, and she dominated the entire match. And this is where I was saying before, this for me, because there's no big lights and fireworks and theatrics, it's all about the wrestling. It's not about the showcasing. So for me, it was like, the showmanship, show ponying. So yeah, this was to its core the perfect storytelling, because it's a story of how strong Shayna Baszler is and how dominant she is, and it's still the underdog story of Becky Lynch getting beat down and beat down and beat down and coming back up and coming back up and coming back up. It was perfect in telling that story. Not how I expected it to go at all. Becky Lynch did get the win.
Yeah, man. Becky Lynch retained.
She retains. Not expecting that at all. But this is where that wrestling storytelling comes into play, because again, Becky Lynch is the underdog. She always has been, and she overcame once again. And beautiful. It rounded out that story beautifully. I think Shayna's going to step away for a little bit. She's going to recollect herself.
What a name! Sorry, Dad Bod Plays just gave us a follow.
Bod.
What a
Hi.
fantastic name!
Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, a friend of yours.
Yeah. We know each other on Twitter.
You're a fan of the Dad Bod, Jem.
I do appreciate the dad
Nothing
bod.
quite
Awesome
like a
to
good
see
dad
you here.
bod.
Thank you so much for joining
Yeah, man.
us.
Thank you for coming and for hosting as well. What an absolute champion.
Aw, thank you.
But yeah, look, I did not expect this to be the result. I was pretty confident that Becky was going to win here.
I thought she was out with the carafina clutch, man.
Yeah, we now know what it's correctly called because we
Yes.
keep getting it wrong for the longest time.
Yeah.
So it was having
But
her
again,
go.
it was another questionable pin.
Yeah, having her go strong at the start, I was like, all right, she's fucking got this. She has this
Yeah.
so hard. Turns out not the case. But yeah, once again, not a sketchy pin in the same way that crucifix pin at last year's WrestleMania was, but it was an interesting pin. It almost won like okay, this is not how I thought this was going to go as I punched the microphone. But yeah, so in terms of me personally, I did expect it to go the other way, to have Shayna become the new Raw champion. However, if we peel the kayfabe off from the show for a moment, I think I know why. And this comes from a conversation that I was listening to with another wrestling podcast, and they're the idea of. It looks as if the WWE will be going on a hiatus after Mania, right? So what they need is they need the right people to go into the masses, into the media, and then continue to push WWE in a positive light. So in terms of who is really good at interviews and then therefore marketing WWE is Becky. It's these are the people that you want.
Alexa and Nikki.
So although Shayna is fucking awesome, and I still think I
think she's gonna have a comeback.
Whatever that pay-per-view is they come back to, Becky is losing it. But I think this is where the business has seeped its way into the whole story overall.
I reckon it may be a case of Shayna Baszler getting the Money in the Bank contract, cashing it in the same night for the win.
Oh, that would be also a good way to go about it too. Yeah,
I can see that because I'm pretty sure Money in the Bank is what's supposed to come next.
However, there is also it's very uncertain right now whether Money in the Bank is going to happen, but it's still good.
Yeah.
All right. So in the chat, Dash goes, Becky should have lost it. She's had it for too long.
I agree.
Ghost the Machine has questioned whether Dad Bod Plays his Edge's Twitter account. So Dad Bod goes, hi, I hope everyone is having a great day. We are having a great day, man. We're actually having a fantastic day. Osiris adds, but Becky is a champ and has been for a while now. Is she really still the underdog? No. And this is the discussion that I was having when I was doing the WrestleMania 2K20 stream on Saturday. Becky was at her best when she was chasing.
Yes.
In terms of now, when she finally got those belts, it was a grandiose moment. It was fantastic. However, it was a situation of her build up in 2018 towards that WrestleMania was fantastic. And in order to pay off that ride up, it does mean that she needs to have a longer reign, right? So in terms of the payoff for that whole story, it was important for her to maintain that. However, there is that weird line of who's fucking there now. She's destroyed everyone. The only one that I think of, and this is a mild spoiler for day 2, it's fucking Bianca Belair. She has to be next in line, right?
Yeah, she's had an amazing year, just like Rhea Ripley.
But yeah, if we think about people that are looking very, very positive that we're going to get that shot. Yeah, because we think she's coming up.
I just noticed something quickly.
Yeah.
WrestleMania, anybody?
Oh, big pirate ship on the arm. Yeah, look at you being prepared. Big Kraken.
Planned it a decade ago.
Yeah, got the big.
I've got Winston.
Oh, we haven't touched upon that yet. The opening video for this fucking WrestleMania.
Man, that was the weirdest thing ever.
It was so weird. So it was like
but it was so good.
Incredibly well rendered CG boats and shit with a lot of green screen work and some guy doing like a half-assed Jack Sparrow. Was brilliant. There was cool clips of like Becky with an axe. It looked very Viking for a pirate theme. Kofi having like a metal arm plate, like he was a medieval person.
Roman Reigns flying down from the sails.
Yeah, Seth Rollins stomping some mega giga crab. That was rad. Drew McIntyre straight up screaming at a Kraken and then Claymore kicking it.
Yeah.
I got this is how I know that I'm a giant sucker for what WWE has to offer. Like, I got genuinely moved watching that thing. I guess it's just the whole idea, because like as wrestling is incredibly important to me. So this is that payoff. This is that big, everything comes to this moment. So I'm already emotionally high coming into it. And then on top of that, it's just this cool imagery, and it's about, the power in the story, and, this is who we are, and it's the hero's journey, and all these right keywords get you motivated, get you excited. And then it's just, I don't know. I was moved. So Christian, I have to go. Sorry if I didn't say. We'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Thank you very much, Christian.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for stopping by, dude. Oh, and Dad Bod loves my background.
Oh, that's
You just wait till you see the full set, mate. Go check out the YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see the full set. The full set's fantastic. I love this set a lot. And Mad Dog's here. Hey, Mad Dog.
Hi.
And everyone's coming to party. But yeah,
Awesome.
so that whole opening thing was just beautiful
right.
to me, absolutely beautiful to me.
Beautifully cheesy.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of love. And that's exactly what I love about WWE. It's what I love about wrestling, and it is that stupid shit. And this was just like, here's boats, here's fucking Roman Reigns punching water. I'm like, yeah, absolutely love it. What were we chatting about? Oh yeah, Shayna Baszler. But yeah. So Shayna Baszler looked pretty rocked. Like, I was expecting maybe some post-match beatdown or something, but no, it was pretty clean. It was pretty tidy.
Shook, yeah. Yep, I definitely think they'll be coming back to it.
Yeah, I think this has been held just because of the current circumstance. I think if it was any other moment in time, she would have it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for under current circumstances. Next up, Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship.
Not how I expected this one to go either.
No. So we should
what
also.
I did love.
Go ahead.
Was during Daniel Bryan's entrance, obviously him and Drew Gulak come out doing the yes chants, and up on the balcony is Rob Gronkowski and Mojo Rawley doing the yes chants with them. Beautiful. Sami Zayn came out with Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura, and still, like, Gronk and Rawley are there just yes chanting.
Well, let's touch upon that. So, what did you think of Gronk as the host?
I think it was probably a good idea given the circumstances. I don't think he could do the grandest stage of them all.
Yeah.
But what they gave him there, he worked with really well.
He kind of annoyed me. But I think that's also the whole shtick of Gronk, with this, like, coming out to literally a shitty version of Party Rock Anthem.
Party Rock Anthem. Yeah, that's literally him. He's just like the party boy of.
Yeah, so apparently he was just as shit and obnoxious at NFL, so that's a bonus, I suppose.
That's him. Yeah.
But yes, as you mentioned, they come out to the thing. New intro. What's the screen called?
Titantron.
New Titantron for Sami Zayn. It does have on there the Great Liberator. Has changed a little bit. Chris goes, Gronk is a bro, nothing more, nothing less.
Gronk is the epitome of a Gronk.
Yeah,
He is what we call a Gronk here.
Yeah, he's bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had Gulak ringside as well, and we also had...
Gulak was ringside, obviously. Shinsuke and Nakamura was as well.
Yep.
Gulak did have to get involved to take out Shinsuke and Cesaro at one point, and then he goes for Daniel Bryan, and he goes for Sami Zayn, and Bryan's like, leave him, just leave him. And he lets him go, and then Sami tries to leg it out of the venue and take a DQ loss, but Bryan catches him and gets him back in the ring. It was really good because, obviously Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak have this relationship here. So Gulak's calling things out during the match to help Bryan take out Sami Zayn, which Bryan did dominate the match ultimately. But thanks to interference from Shinsuke and Cesaro, Sami Zayn did end up getting a win.
Very interesting outcome. Oh, Fid McAwesome's here in the chat. How are you, dude?
Hello.
Hope you enjoyed your WrestleMania. Come here and have a chat, and let's get deep into that WrestleMania. But yeah, this is not where I thought it was going to go as well. I thought Daniel Bryan was going to come out. However, I do like that he didn't.
Yes.
In this weird way,
I
because
agree.
one thing that I've talked about for the longest time when it comes to this artist collective, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Nakamura, they never win. So they do not look impressive as a trio when they never win. We saw 2 out of 3 win today. So I can't complain about that. This is adding some legitimacy to them. It answers all the complaints that I've been having coming into this. It's just because they haven't been used properly. And Osiris in the chat agrees, saying Cesaro is super underused. But then Ghost also adds that Sami Zayn is a massive fan of the game Tropico. Interesting deep fact there by Ghost.
There you go. Well, look, I find it really goes to show as well how devastating the haluva kick is.
Yeah.
Because Daniel Bryan came off the top rope and copped this vicious boot in the face, which ultimately knocked him out for the count. Sami Zayn, when he wrestles really well.
Yeah.
He is obviously playing a bit more of a coward. I feel like they should really give him a bit more strength.
The only thing I don't understand is why
But the
they made him
problem
look
with
like one of the
that
wet bandits from Home Alone. Like,
oh, I know,
was-
right?
why-
He
why
looks
did-
like he's about to take a brick to the face.
yeah, why did he look like such a bum? Fid adds, if the results of this entire WrestleMania were in front of an arena audience, it would honestly have been a top 5 WrestleMania for me. Unquestionably, man. Look, we'll get out there now. I fucking love this WrestleMania, but I'm also a giant mark, I'll admit it. So there were things that weren't that amazing, but there were things that were like pretty fantastic. And the next match on the card was the triple threat ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. It changed from the 6-man tag to a triple threat because The Miz was allegedly injured and unable to compete. So we had Kofi, Jimmy, and John Morrison defend.
Yeah. Yep. Ladder match, which means no DQs.
This was amazing.
It was so good for what it was. Again, it's another one of those matches that everybody's yelling for ladders and things like that. And they had a stalemate initially, and then they all ran for the ladders, and then it was a free-for-all. And, they've obviously got really big shoes to fill, because you think of matches like, when Edge and Christian took on, the Hardy Boys.
And the Dudleys,
And the Dudleys, you think of matches like that, it really puts it on a high pedestal. And not having the crowd there to hype that up as well is big.
But I think that may have worked
perfectly.
I think it may have worked to their advantage here because, as you said, we're hearing smack talking. We are hearing ladder on people, and it's gnarly.
You're hearing them scream and moan in pain. And one thing I did love, this made me piss myself laughing, is Jimmy Uso throws Kofi head first into a ladder, and he goes, "How'd you like that, Kofi? Flatten your face like a pancake, boy." Lost it. I was like, holy shit, that is the best smack talk I've ever heard.
And another moment that stood out to me was Jimmy walking along the padded barrier, and Kofi just fucking yeets a ladder at him. Not even nicey, just and then it was just falling down. I enjoyed the scramble. I enjoyed all 3 of them going at any one time.
And the ending, man.
Yeah. So
wow.
So at the end, they do get all 3 of them up on 2 ladders in the middle of the ring. They're all grabbing onto the little hangy thingy, the clothes hanger thing. They unclip it. So technically, someone should have won, but they're all holding it. So they're fighting over it. They Jimmy and Kofi proceed to Kofi, because we're friends now because I met him that one time. Proceeds to headbutt John Morrison. John Morrison falls back, rips those belts, take him with him, lands flat on his back onto a ladder.
When he hit the ladder, he still had it in his arm, and he bounced off and they dropped. So they pronounced him the match winner. And Miz and Morrison retained.
Dash. Oh, really? You met Kofi Kingston? I didn't know. No, we've never mentioned it. Not once.
Not ever. Yeah. You can go look at our YouTube channel.
It's weird. I don't know why I didn't tell you about it.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry, Dash. I'll make sure to let you know next time. But so that was cool. So they retained, which was impressive, and also in terms of story, it totally worked. So during a promo from Miz and John Morrison on SmackDown, they were discussing about how the Usos and New Day, they're really quote chummy, but then they're going to fight him, and then they're going to allow them to take the win because they're going to be busy dicking about. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That's
there is
exactly what
there is
happened.
That rivalry there. They're competing with each other, which caused Morrison to capitalize. So they tried to take him out to fight each other, and ultimately,
Fid McAwesome goes, "Hey, I met him too. Lovely dude. He was absolutely lovely."
he was.
We were very lucky. Our friends over at Well Played had the opportunity to interview him. They couldn't get anyone, so they offered it to us, and we took it, no questions asked. So we went and had a chat with him. It was absolutely fantastic, and hopefully, if the shows still go ahead this year, we can do the same.
He is our intro video.
Come later in there. He is our intro video if you listen to the pod. Goes, anybody can pay for a cameo, Betson. I didn't. I got a cameo of
we paid for
of
it.
Big E for my birthday.
Me, Josh, and Craig.
And that was fantastic. I didn't pay for shit. It was fantastic.
It was honestly priceless seeing Ryan's face as Big E sitting there going,
Ryan
Betson? Is that you? Oh, it was the best.
I love it.
Best thing I've ever seen. He absolutely loved our name as
yeah,
well.
so Ghost, as I met Xavier Woods at PAX South, and he was a darling. All the New Day are. That's true. Fed also adds, hung with Xavier Woods too. We were meant to all go out drinking, but after he effed his Achilles that night, yeah, man. Ooh. Yeah, that was gnarly. That was a good show though. I still enjoyed the live show because I'm a big sucker. I was actually contemplating going to the Sydney show as well, going to Sydney and or Melbourne, but when I realised they're probably mostly the same, we didn't. And Ghost in the chat's really pushing that hey ho ho.
No, I love it.
Did you now because I watched SmackDown and WrestleMania so close to each other, I can remember where it happened, and we haven't talked SmackDown yet. Did you see the rap video that they did?
Oh, that was beforehand.
Yeah.
I saw that like yesterday or something. Ridiculous.
That was amazing. That was so dumb.
Yeah, it was.
That was like that
great.
horrible good.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Holy weird.
But yeah, so in terms of a result, this is good. I like the result from a storytelling perspective because that's what we look for in this show. We want to talk about the stories, and this is 100% that narrative. I did think the Usos were going to take the win here and then further that feud between the Usos and the New Day, equaling both at 7 title reigns. But I like where this is going as well.
Yeah, 100%.
I like it a lot. Everyone's just talking about the New Day stories now. Dad Bod's back after getting a coffee. He goes, my wife got to play Cuphead against Xavier Wood during TwitchCon 2019.
Oh, that's amazing.
Look at us all with our New Day stories.
Oh, I love it. They're the best.
They bring us together. They're amazing. Speaking of,
power of positivity.
Because the Australian dollar is hot garbage right now. So I want to order a bunch of new shirts. But Fid goes, Big E is my dad.
And the Roxy cousin.
That's right. I want to buy that like sweet tie-dye shirt where they have like a buff unicorn like on the front. I want it. I'm feeling like spending some money, so I will. He goes, oh, sorry, my daddy, winky face. Your daddy and your uncle. Next up, Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens. Holy
Monday
actual
night
shit. Seth Rollins looked like Jared Leto, like hanging out in a desert. Messiah. It was fucking fantastic.
He came out in all white, and I was like, "Okay, Jared Leto, calm down."
He looks so good,
acting like Jesus up in here. Christ,
he looks.
Kept saying
so
he was
good.
God, and I was like, "You're an idiot," but okay.
But what I loved about it is like Seth Rollins comes out looking all like majestic and regal and like holier than thou. Kevin Owens just comes out looking like fucking dad bod. Like it's just so good. And
KO's
I love
just
it.
like, where's the hot dogs? Like,
yeah. So they end up bussing around for a little while. They end up sprawling in the outside area. Seth Rollins wails Kevin Owens in the face with the bell. DQ win to Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is like, nah, fuck that though.
Yeah, that wasn't the move of a god.
That is not how it works.
Coward.
That's the move of a coward. Let's do it again. No disqualifications. Let's make it happen right now. And Seth's like, "Oh, sure, you want me to do that?"
He goes, "That's not the actions of a god. That's the actions of a little bitch."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, shots fired!" And like Seth's like Rollins is like, don't test me, Kevin. And Kevin's like, come on, no DQs, no nothing, let's do
But
this. And he's like,
to Seth's credit, he comes in, he's like, all right, fucking decks him, and then goes, all right, what are you going to do, you fat piece of shit? And then just throws him out of the fucking ring. I'm like,
I know.
that was so good.
It was beautiful. Again, another match that was just storytelling in the wrestling. It was perfect. And because you can hear them smack talking each other and you can hear the anguish they're in. Like, KO hit the floor at one point and Seth hit him with a chair or something, I think. Clocked him right in the chest and you can hear KO's genuine heartfelt scream of pain.
Yeah.
Like, it was agonizing but amazing to watch. And throughout the whole thing, Seth's like, I'm a god, I can do whatever I want. And then, KO ends up climbing on the big WrestleMania sign behind the referees.
So the chat's all going on by itself here. Osiris is talking about how everyone is The Rock's cousin, and Fid is like, yeah, especially in South Auckland, so because Fid's from New Zealand, so it's very possible that in fact Fid may be cousin of The Rock for all we know. Argentuzo says, "Hey guys, hey man, how you doing?" And Buddy Watson jumps in and goes, Jared Leto fresh from Colt Camp. Yeah, hanging out in the desert, drinking peyote and shit. But yeah, as you mentioned, so there's a whole bit of a scuffle outside again. Seth Rollins lying on the announce table. Kevin Owens like fucks off for some reason. Then he just climbs up. You see him on top of the giant sign that they hang in the stadiums. And he's like, how's this for WrestleMania moment? And just fucking elbows the living shit out of Seth Rollins from the top of that sign.
Yeah, and then gets him back in the ring, clocks him with a stunner. Like, Seth's begging at this point. He's like, we don't have to do this, Kev. And he just...
Dude, if you want to talk about sounds, the sounds that Seth Rollins was making after this drop was goddamn ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, he was literally gasping for breath.
It sounded like a death rattle. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful work by Seth Rollins there. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, after the stunner... Rollins is out. Kevin Owens, he's in. He's the new hot fashion because he is a winner.
Exactly what I wanted. Didn't expect it, but I got what I wanted, and that's all that matters.
Very much so. Hang on one sec. So I've got to clear my throat.
That's all right. So yeah, again, we get a little bit of a Mojo Rawley and Gronk doing their thing, and R-Truth comes up and is like, shh, guys. It's like, I just won back my 24/7 7-Eleven European South
40 highway
championship. And he's like, I love my baby. I love having my baby back, but I can't do anything. Like, I can't go to the toilet. I can't go to the gym. I can't do anything because I have to defend this 24/7. Can you guys hide me? And
didn't he just win it off Mojo Rawley?
Yeah. And then they both attack him, and Gronk goes for the pin, and ref jesses with him. And Mojo goes, oh no, you don't, bro, and then throws his best mate Gronk off and gets the 1, 2, 3 pin and runs off with the belt. Like, okay, that's supposed to be your best mate, and you just stole the pin from him.
That's where you gotta take the wins where you can. Martin is here in the chat. How are you, Martin?
Hi, Martin. So yeah, Mojo Rawley is now the 24/7 champion.
Yeah, then Paul Heyman does a little quiet promo here.
Charlie Caruso's trying to interview, and then he interrupts. Yeah,
but like it's very Paul Heyman-y. It was just kind of what we were used to hearing, so it's not a bad thing. It was certainly a good thing, but it's just kind of okay. But adding to what Mad Dog has said here, could have used without this segment about R-Truth, and I agree. I think the 24/7 championship needed to be here, but I guess it's a way. It was just more screen time. It was just because Gronk was there. It was pretty much the whole plan.
Yeah. One thing
go ahead.
Go on.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, going back to the Paul Heyman thing, the one thing I did love is with him speaking in that lower tone and not shouting into a microphone like he usually does, it's a lot more menacing.
Yeah, made it intense, eh?
I was...
Oh, you're that shocked. Holy shit.
Yeah, I was... I was sitting there, and like the entire time, like I started to get goosebumps because I was like, "Oh man, this guy's like, it sounds like he's trying to put a hit out on somebody."
Yeah,
I'm scared, very scared.
Next up, as you start dying, Jem, Universal Championship match: Goldberg versus Braun Strowman. Now, last minute change. We haven't talked about SmackDown yet because we're not recording right now when we would normally record our SmackDown review. Braun Strowman announced to be replacing Roman Reigns. No story. Fuck it. They didn't say anything. They just were like, Braun Strowman, you're in. And I was like, hell yeah, because I'm a big old Braun Strowman dog. So, comes in, takes 5 I say, Finn McDonough goes, quote, last minute. Well, you say last minute because WrestleMania was shot like 2 weeks ago. So we as the viewers, last minute.
Yeah.
But there's that.
Cops a shit ton of spears.
5 spears. Takes 5 spears. Yeah. Goldberg then tries to go for the jackhammer. No chance. Turn around like a 3 running power slams. So 2 power slams, 1 running power slams. 1, 2, 3. Braun Strowman is your Universal Champion. I jumped the fuck out of my seat, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I got teary after all the shit he's been through. And I know this is super last minute and it's probably not going to last long, unfortunately. But fuck, it was a beautiful moment. It was a beautiful moment.
Braun Strowman! Good. Oh, he fell off.
He got this title.
Get these hands! So I'm just pulling out my small action figure collection.
Very proud.
Braun Strowman in there.
Very, very proud.
That's how much I'm a big old dork.
Yeah, and you could see it in his face too. Like, it's a big moment for him too. So it was very, very heartfelt, and I was very, very happy.
Yeah, look, I'm quite happy about it. Just one of those things because we know he's had nice dolls bets. And shut up, Ghost. They're my dolls, and I like them, so you can suck it. Yeah, so look, I'm happy with it, mostly because one of those things that's just been he's had a bunch of different shots, and from what we've heard, backstage reasons, like he's had issues about at the time, so it's cool for him to have
Tipping
it now.
the boss's limousine.
Yeah, just things like in terms of backstage heat properly not being there. So it's nice that he's come to a place now. So knowing that, like, you know, he lost the IC title a little while ago, to knowing that it would come to this. Because I imagine that conversation, 3 weeks ago when they recorded all this shit, it was like, look, you're going to lose the title. However, we're going to put this in place because we know Roman can't do it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Buddy, scumbag used car salesman, ? I thought you were talking about Goldberg and how he was fooled people and that he's been a wrestler for all these years. Fucking
shots fired.
Just bury Goldberg, buddy. Jesus.
Buried like Braun Strowman.
But holy fuck, yeah, look. Okay, can we mention?
That's a perfect segue.
Can we mention, before we get into the whole buried thing, can we get into the mention of Goldberg walking out, and this back to our New Day stories, stops and stares at the picture of Big E as he makes his way to the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. So for those that listen to Feel the Power, which is their New Day's WrestleMania wrestling podcast, Big E, big advocate of wanting just to slap meat with Goldberg. Like Big E wants a big old bus match against Goldberg. So that was a nice little touch. It's a small little it's a little nod there for those that pay attention, which I really, really enjoyed. But yeah. Let's get into the main event of day one. That's right. We've been talking 59 minutes and it's only day one. This one's going to be fucking long. AJ Styles, Undertaker, Boneyard match. So this, at its core, was a B-grade horror movie. It was shot like a movie.
Perfectly.
Wasn't even a match. It was literally a short... Sorry, it wasn't even a match. It was a short film.
Yeah, and it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The way the whole thing was put together, the shooting style of it, the lighting, the match itself, the smack talk. Perfect.
Yeah. It was one of those things, knowing that they were shooting it, because it was announced like X amount of time ago that they were doing shooting in other locations. So we're like, oh, I presume they're actually going to be having a match at a graveyard, but I was under the impression that it would just be literally a ring surrounded by polystyrene like tombstones. I didn't think that much of it. I did not think that it was going to be this.
It was an actual grave.
So we'll quickly run through it to sort of hit the main beats. Hearst comes in the graveyard, to the cemetery. 2 hooded people come, open the back door. Out comes the casket. We're like, oh shit, here's Undertaker. Open it. It's fucking AJ Styles. I loved it. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I just want to touch on this as well. Fid McAwesome. I won't stand for any bad talk on the Boneyard match. It was the best thing to happen all weekend. Fuck yes, it was. This was absolutely
100%.
amazing.
Yeah, it was definitely.
And anyone that shits on this, look, is just wrong. It's just absolutely wrong. If someone actually shits on this, you are like, it's one of those weird lines of like, are you even a fucking wrestling fan? Like,
yeah, exactly right.
it is weird. Like, are you just spewing hate? Because it was cool, regardless of who you are or what your stance on wrestling is. This was objectively kind of cool.
It was badass. Speaking of badass, the Undertaker does come in on a motorcycle.
Yeah, the American Badass.
Yeah,
Fucking brilliant
I
segue.
believe the song was by Metallica.
Yes.
So he's come out to a Metallica song this time, which was awesome too. Good song. Yeah, it was really awesome to see him riding in like that and just embracing that American Badass style, which is, you know, AJ was talking about having the Undertaker from 15 years ago. This is that Undertaker. You know, that he was the American Badass back then, and he was badass. So it was a really cool entrance to him flying in. You know, AJ, this was a pretty AJ heavy match.
Yeah, so Buddy in the chat, he goes, Redneck TNA AJ is my favorite. This match, quote unquote, was brilliant. So I think that's the thing. So having not watched a lot of TNA, we're not going to be able to pick up on those smaller details around the character that AJ was portraying. But I really enjoyed it. Yeah, he was a smart ass. He was just like, being a dick the whole time.
Real
It
smack
was
talking.
brilliant.
Yeah. And then when Taker was getting up the upper hand, he was doing the same thing. Which is beautiful.
So Dash got a question. He was, seeing as this was your first taste of American Badass, Ryan, what do you think? I'm going to touch upon that. I'm touch that at the end of this. We're going to quickly run through this and then we'll go there. So short things happen. Punch, bit of bust, and the benefit of it being heavily edited, it added they added some sound effects for punches, so it made it feel harder. It made it feel heavier.
Yeah.
There was a situation where the Undertaker was sort of getting the shit kicked out of him at the point that they're at a barn. You know, Gallows and Anderson come in. They get involved. A wall of a barn falls down. A bunch of druid-looking dudes come out. Undertaker, in like a straight-up Matrix moment, proceeds to punch them all in the face, and then survives. He essentially kicks nine people's asses in this match. It was pretty rad. He's then lying and after getting speared through a fence. He's doing a lot of those guttural hurt pains as well.
AJ keeps talking about how he's going to do the world a favor and bury Undertaker like he needs to be, and gets a big old shovel and clocks Taker, who falls into the grave. And as he starts up the excavator, all of a sudden Undertaker's behind him.
Yeah.
Spooky as fuck.
Yeah. So in hindsight, it was one of those things like, so yes, the American, he as the American Badass falls into the graveyard, into the grave, sorry, and then boom. I was kind of hoping that he would then be Phenom. Like there would be like a different version of Taker, or even like OG, like original fucking mullet and big tie Taker. I thought
it just goes to show that Taker is still that ethereal mystery being behind it all. No matter what persona he's wearing, he still has that mystery, that fear to him. And AJ will shit himself.
Yeah, and then AJ got the fucking shit kicked out of him, and it was brilliant. Yep. So there's all what I love about this. Adding to Dash's question about American Badass, what my thoughts? I think it's cool because he's cool, he's calm, he's calculated. It felt like the example I've heard was an episode of Sons of Anarchy, and it's just like. He's talking to him and he's shit talking the whole time, but he's not being slow and plodding like Taker normally would. Like he's just been like talking shit. He's like, all right, man, what you say? I said I'm old. Like, all right, well let's fucking do this.
What's my wife's name again, huh?
Yeah.
How old again am I, huh? You know.
And it felt like a bit of like a horror movie in terms of not like a Jason.
It felt like a calculated dissection.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt very methodical and very well put together, and Undertaker knew exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
From climbing the roof of the barn and, like, choke slamming AJ off.
So I'm just going to put it out there. He fucking killed Luke Gallows.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Man.
He yeets him off the roof. He dies.
Yeah.
Carl Anderson takes the tombstone pile driver, leaves him on the roof. Roof catches fire later. We never see him get off the roof. Carl Anderson's dead. AJ Styles chokeslammed off the thing, wrecks through a pile of pallets.
And then gets dragged over to the grave, and you can hear him begging, like, please don't bury me and take it. Like,
my favorite quote was like, die like a man. Edge is like, no.
Yeah, he's like, die like a man. And yeah, like AJ's there like, please don't bury me, I'm sorry. He's like, you're sorry? Why are you sorry? Why are you apologizing? Yeah,
dude,
like,
this was
like a man.
This was great, like sort of like manipulation. I'm like, I didn't expect it. He's like, nah man, you put up a really good fight. Like not many other people have done this. This has been amazing.
Yeah, and take it easy. He's like, you've put up a really good fight. Not many people have given me this over the years. Like, I'm not gonna. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. And AJ's like hanging on.
And it's that cool calculated. So as Sandy mentions in the chat, when he punched the hearse window, like he punched it and he's like,
yeah.
"Come on, man, you made me bleed." And I like it because it's that cool.
You got me cut.
Yeah, it's that delivery. It's like, man, look what you made me do.
Yeah, so calm and collected. And then in full like 300, like this is Sparta, just boots AJ into the grave, and I was like, oh shit! And then just gets on the escalator and just topples it on
And there's not a lot of dirt in there. Enough.
All we see is AJ's hand out like this, and then the Undertaker gets on his back, and then the barn blows up.
Yeah, barn blows up, big laser beam, Taker logo on the side of it, and then he fucks off to AC/DC. And
amazing.
Seeing as
fucking perfect.
Seeing as there's a documentary on there right now called Undertaker Last Ride. I have a feeling that this may be his final match.
Yeah,
and if it is,
well.
Look, it was one of those things. Like, I think Taker deserves to be one of the only people to go out a winner.
Like that.
Like most people go out when they do their final match, they pass the torch and then they go out with a loss. I think that if this happens to be Taker's last match, even though he's had like 15 of them, he's the John Farnham of wrestling. This would be a good way to go out, riding off into the sunset or into the moonlight. I think you could very comfortably call this the end of days. Yeah,
100%. Yeah. That was literally riding off.
Yeah.
It was literally the last ride.
So Buddy adds it was Roadhouse and Taker was Swayze kicking out AJ as some drunken trash talking wannabe. Yeah.
100%.
Mullet owes the take. So Craig adds and talking of match and making noise, the sound coming out of Taker halfway through that match is when he gets done through the fence. Yeah, and Dash also adds literally shaved 20 years off him. That I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Like he's astounding. Like it was one of those things. It's so baffling, right? That he just by a minor change of hair and clothes, and I'm like, dude, you look so young. And then you watch that doc.
There's no heavy makeup like that.
I started watching the documentary. I'm like, you look like shit. Dad Bod Plays goes, you guys and all the 8-bit folk are amazing. Thanks, man. We're not part of the 8-bit crew. We're just mates with them all. But thank you. Thank you very much.
They are bros.
They are our bros. Aussie slang is my favorite. Says Dad Bods. I forget what slang I used, but I'm sure I did something. And Sanvi goes, Taker is a very tradition heavy guy. He would insist on a loss to go out. And Dash agrees. So that's very possible. That could certainly be the case. Maybe that's the thing. But in terms of how do you ever beat this?
Yeah, exactly right.
Like, granted, if his final match, as AJ was saying coming into this, in terms of all in his promo work, was his final match should have been against Brock Lesnar, how do we then beat this? What match could ever be done, or any video, or any vignette, whatever, could beat this? I don't think it's possible.
I reckon a match against Alistair Black.
But even then, I don't think Alistair Black... Yeah, but Alistair has lost all his mystique. This whole sitting in a room moping... You know,
but this could give it back, you know?
I don't know, it's one of those things. Ghost adds that Roman should have been the end. That was just perfect. Dad Bod goes, I just love all you Aussie podcasters in general. Yeah, we go all right. we give it a go, you know? But yeah.
Fair shake of the sauce
bottle. Good fair shake. Yeah, fair shake of the sauce bottle, all right? That's Australian for you right there. But yeah, that does bring us to the end of day one. What did you think of day one overall?
Way to end. Perfect to end. Look, matches like I don't know. Overall, day one I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Day one I really enjoyed. There wasn't any matches where I was like, this doesn't feel like it fits. Everything was beautiful. Honestly, I would give it 2 curts. I was really happy with it.
It was one of those situations that my son's broken in again, by the way, so you probably can see his head and or hear him. It is one of those situations of the back end of it really, really won it over. Like although the the matches at the start weren't like super down note or like meh, it was just okay, it was fine. But the last couple like pretty much brought it home. Goldberg and Braun was the outcome that we expected, but I was still happy with it on a personal level. The Boneyard match was brilliant. The ladder match was brilliant, and it's one of those things that you kind of always forget the last part. You're willing to forgive any shortcomings at the beginning if the back end is really good.
Like you can give that R-Truth stuff as well because that back end of it was beautiful.
So I'm in a similar boat in terms of a rating. I kind of want to give it a 2 Kurtz, but I think I might have to go a Kurt and a bar just because I mentioned of some of those in terms of a critical lens. Emotionally, 2 Kurtz, but on a critical space, it's a bit more of a 1.5.
That's fair.
Which is fine. Let's get into day 2, Jem.
Yeah.
Day 2 of WrestleMania kicks off once again with Seth McMahon. We get the same video package as yesterday with all the boats and shit, which was great. Seth McMahon comes out, does the whole like, hey, we're doing our very best to entertain you and whatnot. And that's once again, this is where I was suckered in. Because in terms of the whole delivery, I'm like, yeah, that's what you've done. Over the last 2 days, I've forgotten
what's
everything,
going on in the world.
which has been
too.
great. So like,
even if it is a shorter, only 3-hour show, it's still.
Yeah, we had 2 3.5 hour pay-per-views over 2 days. So,
Yeah.
And
I forgot about everything that was going on around me.
Yeah.
I was engulfed in Twitter and the talk about WrestleMania. I was engulfed in the show. I was engulfed in talking to you guys about it. So.
Oh no. So my son's playing. He keeps wanting to play Animal Crossing on the Switch, so I gave him my old 3DS, and he's currently playing Mario Kart. He's horrible at it, but he's having a great time.
Oh, I love that.
He's driving a small plane right now. I don't know you can even get a plane in that game.
Hey, I can't find the red car.
You can't find the red car?
No.
Oh no.
I'm using a plane, Daddy.
But before we jump in a little bit more, Buddy in the chat. Yes, mate.
I'm using a plane.
Using a plane? You are using a plane. Buddy Watson goes, AJ rematch at SummerSlam.
Ooh.
Actual wrestling. And AJ can carry him and get the revenge in a proper match.
Yeah.
See, I love that idea because this is one of those things like, once again, I don't know how these buried alive matches work back in the day. Like when someone gets buried alive, do they literally go away for a little while? Is that sort of how it works? Like they get buried and then they come back later?
Well, because Gallows and Anderson were there, I wouldn't be surprised if they dug him out quickly. So.
Dash goes, yeah. So that's normally what happens is they will like go away for a little while. And I think AJ was wanting to do that. He's mentioned, I remember there being mentioned about his contract and how he will be doing less dates. So even if there is a hiatus, he will still be off for a long while. Ghost mentions a career versus career match. Dash confirms, buried alive is usually a break match. So then you go on like a small break. All right. Day 2 kicks off. Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, NXT Women's Championship match. Not how I thought the day was going to start either. Super happy with that where it was. I did get a little bit strayer about it, I'll admit.
Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%. Look, I love Charlotte Flair and I genuinely was gunning for her, but there was definitely a part of me that was like, oh, come on, Rhea.
Yeah.
You can do this for us, Aussies. Fucking beautiful because these two were just shit talking each other so much and you could hear it clear as day and it was just beautiful because again it tells more of that story between them. Absolutely gorgeous, absolutely ass kicking, hard hitting. They're both the same size and stature, so they're both very vicious superstars. And watching them beat the living shit out of each other was beautiful.
I think that's the big thing. Charlotte, so from here, like it's one of the only matches on the apart from the little vignette ones where it genuinely felt like someone's getting their ass kicked.
Yeah. And like this is the thing, like this is long-term storytelling in its perfection as well. Because a couple of weeks ago on NXT, Charlotte attacked Rhea's leg and she went straight back to that and she was like, this is a weak point, I'm going to target it. And she did. And ultimately that got her into the figure 8, which caused Rhea's tap out. And Charlotte won the NXT championship.
Yeah. So like in terms...
Not expecting that.
No. I was 100% thinking that Charlotte was going to do the right thing here and take...
Rhea was adamant.
Yeah.
Rhea was walking out.
Yeah.
No.
Nah. But in terms of, as you mentioned, storytelling, like that really focusing on that limb was really cool because I just enjoyed that a lot. Just that I love that sort of
dissecting,
like
very methodical.
yeah, I like that sort of like minor storytelling thing. I really enjoy, which is cool. But yeah, so what Mad Dog in the chat mentions, I just hope Rhea doesn't get the Shayna treatment. See, once again, I think the treatment here was that, as we mentioned about, fucking like an hour ago, is that the difference here is that by Shayna taking the L, she will get it back at another time. I'm thinking that there is the greatest story here around Charlotte and NXT is still going. So I really like that they presumably are sticking to what they intended, which was we want Charlotte to go down to NXT, and they kept that story going regardless of the current world circumstances. Yeah. They still pushed that forward.
And they've kept it to NXT, which has been beautiful as well.
Yeah. So yeah,
Charlotte hasn't appeared on shows.
That's true. Charlotte has been, and like, granted, they haven't been the rating bump that they wanted them to be, but I think we're starting to see that movement between the three brands now. Because
I definitely think another feud between Rhea and Charlotte for Rhea to take that title back is what's going to help.
See, I'm going the other way. I think this feud is done, but I think because Rhea is going to, Charlotte is now at NXT and Ripley is going up. She will be on Raw or SmackDown, and I think for that reason she will be part of this new title run on Raw, because Flair was on Raw. So I think in terms of the new people that Becky can face,
that's good.
And that could also, because Ripley is face, I do wonder how that will work with Becky being face now. Currently, does that mean someone's going to have to turn at some point? I don't know, but I like it.
SmackDown and take on Bayley.
I think that could also work too, regardless of where she goes. Oh, actually, very likely. So we'll say Baszler goes to Raw, and then and Ripley goes to SmackDown. That would be rad. That would be actually rad.
I think that would be rad. Yeah, I think Belair's got a better chance at Becky than Ripley does. I think Ripley really needs to go against, like, even though, like, it's hard with Bianca Belair because she can go either way. It's tricky.
Yeah. But we'll get to that in just a little bit. So, yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this match. It was fantastic. Buddy in the chat says hashtag Team Charlotte. He's a big supporter.
100% me too.
It was interesting because I was so confident that Ripley was going to win that I'm watching it going, oh. So night 2 did start on like a confused note for me. I was like, oh.
It was a good mix. All right. I was happy with it. I was like, okay, you're really throwing the I don't know what to expect at me. And I'm hyped about it.
Yeah, so it kind of made me go, okay, because in terms of the theory that I'd sort of heard and sort of speculated on was the idea that we'll see a lot of faces winning in order to help push the show coming into this potential hiatus.
But Charlotte is like huge highlight of the.
Like, she's a fantastic interviewer and all that sort of stuff in terms of the media side of things. But Ripley is so over right now. I was confident that Ripley would take the win in order to allow her to keep being that promo. But if that does make her, if this is getting Ripley in the limelight so she can then come up to quote unquote main, I think they did exactly that. And this match, even with a loss, she looks strong as fuck.
Oh hell yeah, 100%. Speaking of confusing and mixed matches, and stuff like that, Alistair Black and Bobby Lashley was up next.
Yeah.
Why?
Absolutely zero build here. Nothing of major
Zero interest. Yeah. Did not care.
This is literally, even though I love Alistair Black, this was literally the moment. There's 2 moments in this pay-per-view that I pulled my Switch out and I played Animal Crossing.
Yeah, and it's the exact same sort of setup as night 1. First match killer, second match meh. It was. I don't know. I loved Alistair's get-up coming out. Obviously, he always looks amazing.
Looked uncomfortable. I love the hood, but the horns just seemed really gnarly.
I looked mad. But, this was just, I didn't care, and I didn't actually really watch it. All I heard was Alistair won, and then I had to go back and be like, oh, he won. Yeah,
so, in short, Bobby Lashley comes out in pants, which I liked.
Yeah, that was odd.
I liked the pants.
Yeah. Bobby in pants. With Lana.
Lana now a brunette again. She's dyed her hair. So she's ringside yelling a bunch of crap at Bobby Lashley. I mean, there's a situation, I think he made me go on for like the Dominator or whatever.
Yeah.
Where then
Alistair Black.
Sorry, I've brain farted. Lana was like, nah, go for the spear. Go for the spear.
Oh, yeah.
So Bobby drops Alistair, turns around, blows her a little smooch. Then goes to turn around, give her the spear. Straight into a black mass. He's down. Mm-hmm. He down, he out.
1, 2, 3, you're out.
There it is. Alistair Black wins. But in terms of like story, I don't know what the fuck is this going to do. What's this going to prove? What is this going to change?
Yeah, it was just a filler.
Yeah, it's absolutely nothing. In terms of who should have got the win, yeah, it's Alistair Black. But
yeah, it was just a pee break.
It was a pee break. Was where I was able to play Animal Crossing. It was cool. Dad Bod goes, pants are always good. Pants are always an exceptional option because in terms of the wrestling, there is less chance of a little ball bag coming out if you're wearing pants. Daniel Bryan, who we've seen, we saw literally like the side ball,
multiple nutsacks.
Yeah, in terms of the like the side boob, we saw that, but Daniel Bryan's front area, it was just yank. The old lolly bag falls out, tuck it away. Thanks, Daniel Bryan.
Speaking of nice surprises,
speaking of lolly bags, but
the next match had me very emotionally invested.
Yes, so this was Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. So this is an update from SmackDown that we haven't talked about yet. Following from SmackDown this week, where Mandy Rose now knows the truth. Hacker Man gave out the details. So
we finally saw who the Hacker Man is because that little symbol that's been showing up everywhere. Was in its back. I don't think it is because if you saw that guy put his hand down, he had very pale skin. That was not Ali's skin.
That's racist, Jem, but also visually correct.
It's visually correct because Ali is obviously of darker skin descent. Like he's a Muslim, I believe.
He's from that era.
Yeah. So he obviously naturally darker skin. So when we saw the hand come out and press something, there was a lot of emphasis on that hand, and it was as white as me. So I was like, okay, that's not Ali. I thought it was Ali because of that round thing, and he does the hand thing, and it may be they could have whitewashed him. Who knows?
Ooh, rough.
But it's a good way to disguise it if you know what I mean. Sure. Like if you just bleach the screen, like it's a good way to sort of like give that illusion. And that mystique to it. It could be, but I don't think it is.
But yeah, in short, so this allowed Mandy Rose to see some sneaky camera angles of Sonya dicking about on her phone, her meeting.
Which I told you was going to happen. Sonya got her phone in cahoots with Dolph, because after she sends text messages, Dolph... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, hashtag Jem was right.
I was right. Apart from that truth guy who was telling the truth, everything else, I called it.
Yeah.
I called that Sonya and Dolph were in cahoots together. I called that Sonya took Mandy's phone and sent those text messages and then deleted them, because on iPhones, you can delete messages you've sent. I knew it. I knew it. Because, you go backstage, like they show a video backstage of Sonya talking to Dolph, and she's like, you get what you want, I get what I want. And, like, Dolph's like, when it comes to Mandy, like, I always get... she's like, we all win. And he's like, when it comes to Mandy, I always want to win, and this, that, and the other.
And I was like, ew.
So, yeah, it was weird. So Dolph comes out with Sonya.
Yeah, dude, if this continues and the two of them are working together, I'm feeling it, man. Like, they have the same sort of, like, charismatic energy in terms of, like, that sort of asshole energy. BAE, as they say, big asshole energy. No one ever says that. So they come out together. She's in, like, some cat suit looking thing, and she was looking rad.
Oh, no, that's just t-shirt and pants. That's just...
No, it looked like this swimsuit thing was really high and, like, cargo pants. So it was, like, some old leader in there a little bit.
Oh, I didn't say.
Then Dolph comes out in his usual getup, and this is what got me. I literally laughed out loud. So he's in the ring, and he does his little jacket, and he goes, because obviously there's like no crowds. He's like, fucking, I'm Dolph Ziggler. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, fuck, that's awesome.
Yeah, you fucking.
It's like, just have fun with that. Otis comes out, Tum hanging out. Tucker not ringside as he was injured on SmackDown, allegedly, or wasn't there for the taping.
No, he was injured. He got really badly attacked by Dolph or whoever the week before.
So you got like Jack. You got a zigzag on the stairs.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Sure did. So immediately Otis comes to the ring. Dolph goes running because he knows that he has no competition against this guy. Match ensues, which Dolph dominates for the most part. But yeah, Otis gets the upper hand. He looks like he's about to go for the caterpillar. He did a modified compactor, which was really cool.
Yeah, so the compactor being the two-part move, I want, the two of them sort of helping each other come together. He did it like a bit solo, which seemed to deliver in a similar effect.
Cool.
And then he went for a caterpillar. Sonya distracts the ref. Otis is like, what the hell, man? Dick kick. And like,
Dick punch,
there was like no... I'm pretty sure it hit just in the thigh, but from the angle of the camera, it looked like he squarely kicked him in like the gooch.
Yeah,
right in the
100%.
taint, in the perineum.
And then, thanks to Sonya's distraction, Mandy ended up coming down, and Sonya's like, whoa, like, what are you doing? And Mandy just clocks Sonya, starts beating the shit out of her.
And then just punches him square in the ball bag.
Yeah. So, she runs around the side of the ring while the referee's dealing with Otis. Otis gives a bit of a distraction. Mandy Rose comes around. Dolph's like, you're ruining everything. And she just uppercuts him in the dick.
Yeah.
And jumps out. Otis gets the caterpillar for the 1, 2, 3. And big old motherfucking win to Otis.
Yep. Then as Otis gets the win, Mandy comes in the ring, grabs him by the hand. Otis is like, oh, what the hell? Rounds in the air. Otis is the winner. Then like we get a little bit of like, what's that movie? I want to say like Ghost, but it's not Ghost.
Dirty Dancing?
Kind of.
Where he like throws her up and like catches her.
A little bit.
They look at each other and like Mandy's like, all right. And she like throws her arms up and like jumps, and Otis picks her up, and they're like looking at each other all lovingly.
Kind of like the bodyguard, I guess, is probably the movie I'm thinking of, or like
maybe.
Officer and a Gentleman. I think that might be it too. Either way, he's carrying her out, and she's all like, eh, and then they fucking smooch.
Plants a big old kiss on her.
They smooch. They pash hard.
Screamed.
It was lovely.
Yeah, and I screamed. I was like, holy shit, that is it. And then he carries her out, and he's like, she's so pretty. She's so pretty. And I was like, oh, that's the sweetest thing. And it was just the sweetest thing. And he got the win. He got the girl. I called it exactly how I saw it. And I am so happy that it came together the way I wanted it to. And I'm getting emotional thinking about it because it's so sweet.
It is so sweet.
And I'm excited to see where else this can go.
I hope that this does cause some pairing between like Otis and Mandy, and then Sonya and
it would be
Dolph.
interesting.
I think that'd be a good way to keep this going forward.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
This is a match that would have really benefited from the crowd. Like me at home, I popped. I thought this was fantastic. Imagine because an entire arena is behind Otis. Like he is exceptionally over right now. So if they were able to do that in front of a crowd, that room would have erupted. Absolutely erupted.
Yeah, it would have been amazing for sure. But I absolutely loved it. And my hair will not fucking stay today. It's pissing me off. So
Look, I just hid mine all in a beanie. That's the trick.
I don't have it. I do have one, but I don't know where I put it when I move.
Next up, Randy Orton versus Edge, last man standing match. Now, I did feel some sorrow for Edge that he wouldn't get to have his return match in a big, like loud, because that crowd would have, like, even though the crowd would have spent all their energy on the Otis match, they would have managed to find a way to fill it up and pump that bad boy out. Because when the second that Alter Bridge kicks in, woo, ooh,
yep. On this day, I see clearly.
I'll let you hit the floor for a second.
Everything has come to life.
Thank you. Yeah, so he's in the ring. He's standing there looking hell of a mad. Takes off his jack, turns around, looks at the ramp. Randy Orton's music kicks in. Nowhere to be seen. Stand there waiting. Turns out
I was immediately like, "Oh my god, he's going to come out from the back with like an RKO," which he did.
Yeah, he's in a pants, which was super weird because I'm pretty sure I've never seen Randy Orton in pants before. So
and a hoodie.
It was really like the hoodie was okay because he kind of wears a hoodie, but it was
long sleeve.
It was the pants that was doing it. I'm like, I don't like. I like the Lashley wore pants. But Randy, you cannot wear pants. You're not allowed to wear pants. It's confusing for me.
No.
But
he was behind a camera,
which is a good trick because I was thinking about it. Like, did he come from the non-existent crowd? Because one of those things, like,
and that's what I was thinking. Because I was like, oh, it's all dark there, so I get it.
Someone would have been like, "There's a guy in a hoodie over there." Like,
they
someone
show
point
him
out the hoodie man.
they show him like taking off the camera and sliding into the ring, and I was like, oh, that's fucking smart. That is so smart.
Bam! RKO. Edge takes it straight away, and I'm like, is this done?
It's over before it started. Yeah, I was the same.
But thankfully it wasn't, because it went for like fucking 95 minutes.
Edge got back to his feet, and then he copped another RKO, and then it started spilling out the back into the gym. That was so cool.
So it managed to make its way across the entire performance center. They even go into a meeting room that had a cage on the roof for some reason.
Over top of it. Yeah, what was that?
He hangs off the cage, just elbows him there. They sprawl into
you have to watch this match.
Yeah, everyone
It's a
should
match
check
that
it
has
out.
to be watched. In the gym, like they've got the slides, like the things that you slide across the floor with weights on, and like Randy Orton was going to rack Edge in the head with it. I was like, oh my god, you're going to kill.
My
this
favorite part
man.
about it is as he's shoving that thing, it gets caught on a camera cord, and I was waiting for in the background for the camera to get yanked off some poor dude, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
However, they did tough a little bit later and knock a cameraman on his ass. I thoroughly enjoyed that. They then get to
backstage
a backstage interviewee sort of area where there's like the curtain and the screen. They're scuffling around there. They're all both lying down. Edge grabs one of the sandbags that he used to hold down lighting equipment.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you. I'm thinking you know this, Jem. Those things are fucking heavy.
Oh, they are.
And like it wrecks like Randy right in the shin. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh man, some of the shit they did, you have to go and watch this match. Like, it is amazing. If you haven't seen it, please go and watch it. It was perfect, and it was the perfect way to round out this feud as well. But yeah, they do end up on the top of a truck, and Randy goes and gets some chairs. Looks like he's about to give Edge the concerto.
Speaking of chairs, though, like not the chairs that they use at the end here, but like as they're fighting throughout,
business chairs in the office room and stuff.
As they're fighting throughout, there are posters everywhere of pay-per-views and events out of WWE, and it was amazing to see. And then on top of that, they keep stumbling their way into chairs from other events as well. There's like a Clash of Champions chair. There's some NXT Takeover chairs. Like all these different themes. Like if you sit in the ringside area, they tend to have chairs you take home with you. It's part of the package, right?
I love that.
They did the same thing for like Super Showdown and stuff when they were here.
Yeah,
so it's all decorated in whatever event that is. So if you watch it again, pay attention, you'll see there's a bunch of different chairs that get involved. And I don't know whether that's really smart, whether they intentionally planted them there, been like, was there a Randy Orton, Clash of Champions match?
Staging, and I love that.
So there's little things like that I thought were really cool. But yeah, as you said, they pull back up on the top of this thing. It's almost like a video game. It was brilliant. They get up top.
But yeah.
Concerto, they're getting ready to rock and roll on that. Doesn't happen. Randy gets back, takes a spin, goes for the punt.
Yeah.
No success. Takes a spear bush, and then we proceed to see him get a concerto.
Edge crying before.
Dude, like in terms of another moment where there was the benefit of no crowd. The benefit of no crowd right now. Oh.
Yeah, I was crying. This was another one, like, this made me super emotional because it's like, holy shit, there's so much passion and love in this. And this was like, yeah, it was hard. But it was so good. And it was the perfect way to end the match. And I'm so glad that Edge was the last man standing.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, first, 5 minutes, it was 7 count. And it was almost out.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is a problem with last man standing matches that they do take a long time. And now this match was probably the longest on the card.
But it was the most, there was so much going on that it didn't feel that long.
Yeah, with it being pre-recorded, though, they could have tidied it a little bit. But overall, I still really enjoyed myself. I like where they were going. I like the story that they were telling. So in terms of that sense, I thought it was fantastic. Yeah. Once again, this is where I then pulled Animal Crossing out. For the next 2 matches. So 24/7 championship comes in. Gronk's now a champ. Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory.
Yeah, again, another sort of match. Although, in saying that, good enough match, don't get me wrong, but in the end, so the Street Profits do retain. Angel Garza and Austin Theory attack. Zelina Vega gets involved as well. And then out of nowhere, Bianca Belair comes out and clocks her with a KOD. Fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
I squealed. I was like, oh my God. I was hyped because we know that Bianca Belair is married to
Montez,
Montez Ford, sorry. So seeing her come out and assist them and take out Zelina Vega. This is exciting for me because that 100% says I'm coming up and I'm going to take on the new roster. And that's what makes me think like we are going to see more of Bianca Belair. We're going to see her in that women's division, in that women's title picture.
And I think
hyped for it.
To add to what you said, to your thoughts there, which I completely agree with, having her have that exceptional performance of the Rumble, having the match highest number of eliminations alongside Shayna Baszler,
she's a buzzword.
It's one of those things. Like in terms of Shayna Baszler came up and she dominated for a little while until Dayton lost. But Belair will do the same. And because the one thing that we've discussed about here plenty of times, Jem, is the women's division is good, but it's thin.
Yeah,
and
exactly
NXT
right.
has an incredible women's division, and they have by the looks of it just picked up two by the likes of Ripley and Baszler, and Belair. With Shayna Baszler coming up prior to WrestleMania, having these three incredibly strong women join the main roster is exactly what it needs.
Exactly. Just lifting the kayfabe curtain for a second. I was listening to an interview with Triple H where when the Four Horsewomen did come up and stuff like that, Vince was like, I need female superstars. And Triple H is like, well, who do you need? And he goes, this one, this one, this one, and this one. It's like, that's my entire women's division. He's like, well, I need them. And they just had to go. You know, you can't say no to Vince. But that's where, you know, Triple H made an effort to actively bring in more and more women and more, you know, phenomenal athletes in that respect, so that when that does happen, he's still got a backlog. He doesn't lose his old division in NXT. And seeing it's good because now we're seeing Charlotte go to NXT and others come up. I think it's a really nice mix to solidify them all as individual brands on the same level instead of like SmackDown, Raw, NXT. They're all across the board now because everybody's flowing through. Obviously, we've had Finn go back to NXT and things like that. Finn Balor.
So with Ripley making her way up and now Belair making her way up as well, what this will open a lot more opportunities for the likes of Io Shirai, who's kicking asshole in NXT right now.
Your Dakota Kai's, your Tony Storm.
Yeah, and you're like your Mia Yims, and we could list the entire women's roster here because they're just all going ham in different ways. Yep. And I think having these two women move up will actually not be a detriment.
And then it gives Shayna Baszler's little friends time.
Yeah, like Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir, who
that's it.
Yeah, who whether they're even doing anything.
They can make their debuts on NXT.
Like, do you think this is a horsewoman setup? Like by Charlotte moving down?
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Because that there was a moment where they were heading in that storyline, and then that kind of died really quickly. So
yeah, I think they're toying with it, and they're eventually going to give it to us, but they're waiting for the right time.
Okay.
Obviously, with Shafira and Duke. Duke. Her name's Jessamine.
Jessamine Duke.
Yep, Jessamine Duke. So yeah, with Duke and Shafira. I think they need some time to shine away from Shayna Baszler, which will be beautiful, and then somehow it'll round them out and I'll bring them back together.
Next up was once again.
Speaking of horsewomen,
I was still playing Animal Crossing at this point. SmackDown Women's Championship: Sasha Banks versus Tamina versus Lacey versus Naomi versus Bayley in a five-way elimination.
Fatal five-way elimination match for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
So
started exactly how I expected.
Yeah, look, as predicted, Tamina took the L first, followed by.
Oh man, it was beautiful though, because like Sasha and Bayley, I think, attacks her first, and then she just shoves them off, and everybody sort of looks at each other and like, well, and they all go for her. And then when they actually get the pin and eliminate her, it's literally a stacks on of 4 other women on top of Tamina to keep her down. It's beautiful. But yeah, so Tamina gets eliminated first.
Followed by Naomi, then Sasha, then Lacey.
So Naomi tapped out to the
bank statement.
Yep, and then Lacey. Lacey eliminates Sasha
with a big woman's right, like that fucking connected.
Oh, you heard the crack of that. That hit her hard. And then ultimately.
Then with Sasha involvement, she comes back in, goes the backstabber, and Bayley retains.
Yeah. And
there was a little bit of a moment. So because during the scuffle, Bayley kind of socks or bumps Sasha.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Like Bayley, like fully, like she goes to hit Lacey with something, and full just knees Sasha in the head. So there's a little bit of a distraction there, which helps Lacey eliminate Sasha. So they're having a bit of a biffo between themselves. It was interesting to see at the end of it, Sasha put the belt around Bayley's waist and then leave. Was not expecting that.
No. Mad Dog.
I was not expecting Bayley to retain.
I agree, and neither did Mad Dog in the chat. He's put here that he wanted Lacey to get the win here.
Yeah, and I would have loved that too, especially with how much shit they were talking about her daughter and stuff again.
So in terms of the situation here, like, I think they're really pushing down that Sasha versus Bayley story. Which is, I think that's where they're heading. I think that's what they want to shine the focus on, and it would be well and good for Lacey to get the win. But like, what stories could they tell more about Lacey after this? Like, her entire build up into this match is the extent of her story, right?
Yeah.
So where there is more here. So although it would have been rad for Lacey to take the win, I personally thought that my prediction was that Nia Jax would get Nia Jax would get involved somehow.
Yeah,
and that would
I
then
thought so
cost
too.
Bayley the win and Sasha would get the win or something like that, and that would help build up the next feud. But that may have been originally the plan, like in terms of having Tamina involved. However, that's not what happened.
One thing I did find interesting was earlier in the night there was an interview with Sasha and Bayley and Kayla Braxton, and Bayley's like, this interview's over. I knew you were going to ask me about facing my best friend and yada yada yada, and storms off. And Kayla's like, hey Sasha, like, you've been this and this, but you haven't been the SmackDown Women's Champion. Like, how much do you want this? And she goes, well, Kayla, I'm just gonna have to wait and see. And I was like, oof, if that's not fighting words right there, I don't know what is.
Very much so. But now we're getting to the meat, Jem.
Oof, we are getting to the best part.
A match that I thought was going to be the main event. John Cena versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt in a Firefly Funhouse.
I knew it wasn't going to be the main event because we knew that the main event would be.
Yeah, but I thought with the lack of crowd, they may have gone the vignette at the end.
Touche.
So Firefly Funhouse match
was wild.
Yeah. So similar to the Boneyard match, this was a well-edited, well-put-together little video, short film thing.
B-grade horror type.
B-grade, yeah. So it starts off with John Cena coming into the ring like a normal entrance.
Making his entrance.
Firefly Funhouse music kicks in. Blah, 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 blah. Bray Wyatt is in the Funhouse, and he talks about how behind the Funhouse does this, and this. It's where gods and angels and demons and monsters all live together. It's this mix of whatever. Goes in there. Next thing, John Cena's in the Funhouse. He's talking to Rambling Rabbit. He's like, he's in there, dude. Goes in.
Be careful, dude.
He goes,
and then some fever dream happens.
Yeah, so he enters that door, and then it becomes fucking insane. Fucking insane. So we then see a weird montage of the old 80s intros. Like you see Ricky and Rowdy Roddy Piper and Hogan and just all these old stuffs, all these old things. But before we even get there, we get John Cena standing in darkness, hearing a bunch of noises. Then Demon Vince McMahon comes up, a little puppet, and he does the ruthless aggression speech at him, which I thought was great. And he's got this puppet hand that's just poking him the whole time, which I think made me laugh harder than anything else that night. Just because it was very stiff, and I loved it. But then we essentially see the entire story of John Cena. We see Prototype when sort of he's coming out to Kurt Angle.
Yeah, which was weird because when John Cena first came out, with bleach blonde hair, obviously a lot smaller, a lot less that, but he had the exact same shorts on, comes storming into the ring, and Bray Wyatt's given the whole Kurt
word
Angle
for word,
of word for fucking word, and John Cena goes ruthless aggression and goes to hit him, and then he disappears to the other side, and John Cena's swinging wildly, and Bray Wyatt just keeps missing, and then it moves on to some
you can look but you can't touch.
And he makes the joke about the Baszlers as well, and it's basically just the whole thing is Bray Wyatt going through the steps and the different things that John Cena has done in his career with the WWE, and
Yes, we then transition to like Doctor of Thugonomics,
and he's telling a rap, and then like.
So before we get to that, we see this section like where it's just straight up fucking Hulk Hogan, like it's just, and then so they go like a whole WCW NWO thing, where we move into that, and then we get into later so the Thugonomics, Wyatt sort of gives him a spotlight and be like, look, dude, this, you exploit people's weaknesses for entertainment. Congratulations, you're the man, whatever. And like in terms of the discussion that he's having, is like, this is your one shot, dude. This is your final chance. Like, redeem yourself. However, he doubles down on the Thugonomic character and does the final moment. That's when the Fiend gets in, gives him the mandible claw, drops him down, takes him out. And that wraps her up.
Yeah. It was the most, like, fever dream, acid trip, like, it can't be explained. It has to be watched. It has to
But it's one of those things that you're going to have to watch, like, 5+ times to really get all the minor nuances here. And and all this is demonstrating is just the incredible creativity of presumably Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. Yep. And the Firefly Funhouse.
And there's, like... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, for John Cena fans, it's a huge ride of nostalgia, and it was really interesting, and it's like at a point now where like we don't know where he is.
But it's a remarkable commentary on a lot of the superstars that have come through. As he talked, there were moments where I'm pretty sure he was directly talking to Vince McMahon, in terms of like, on top opportunity of chances, and my chances still get taken away from me, and like I've given everything, if you're John Cena, you're the man of the people, at WrestleMania 30, the people wanted something different and you didn't allow it to happen.
Yeah.
So instead you buried me, and they sort of have, Bray Wyatt dubs his Wyatt family gimmick again.
I did see that. Yeah, the rocking chair and
stuff
like
it's
that,
all these little touches, and he talks about how like Hulk Hogan and Bischoff and the whole idea of this one.
The whole Bischoff thing, that was wild. I forgot about that.
I think I take it as this big commentary on these big ego players that have such a stranglehold on WWE, and that comes in the likes of the puppet Vince McMahon being on the commentary. That comes as a lot of focus on Hulk Hogan, because we know that he is one of the biggest egos and big pieces of shit in WWE. Although I don't think John Cena is certainly in the same space as Hulk Hogan, I understand the story that they're telling. What I loved is as he had him in the Sister Abigail, they cut to the voiceover from last week's SmackDown, or was this week's SmackDown, where he talks about, like, this is the end of something that should have been done 6 years ago. The removal of the most overhyped, the most over.
Oh, yep.
And then but it's within context, which is to their credit, in the context of it, like what he was saying about Bray, you flip it on its head and it's him talking about himself.
It was wild. It was real, like, I don't know. It was. I'm gonna have to watch it again, and probably again and again. There's so
because
much
it's like, even on the first, because I've watched it twice now, and the first time I didn't pick that was a Bella's reference. It wasn't until the second.
I picked that.
It wasn't until the second time, and I went, oh.
No, I picked it up straight away. I was like, "Ooh, shots fired!"
Because he brought up every part of his history, and he talked about him being alone, because now obviously the split with Nikki Bella, and he's not seeing anyone or anything. Yeah. Talks about how he wants to do all these things. He's like, that you've been given all the chances he's ever wanted, and la 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 la. And in terms of, is this a farewell match? I kind of think it is, or at least a farewell for now.
It left it very vague, so we don't know if John Cena is dead or if he's stuck in the Firefly Funhouse or what it could be. Like, it feels like the Firefly Funhouse is almost like a void.
So Dash agrees with me. When I says on a farewell for now, he says a see you later match. So it's one of those we will see him at some point, but it's not for a very long time.
Whole, like, oh, I'm not going to do WrestleMania type thing. And now that he's done it, it definitely.
But in terms of what John Cena said when he came out on that SmackDown and delivered exactly that speech about this is about putting over the new people, giving some new people a go. Fuck, he did this. Like, he committed. He put everything on the line for this. Like, this is a massive endeavor on both Bray and Cena's part. I thought this was absolutely exceptional.
They both made history tonight, and it was beautiful.
And
it was absolutely awesome. And like me, a huge John Cena fan, still to this day, I absolutely love and adore this guy. And it really fed into that whole thing as well. Like, I'm still like infatuated. I'm so drawn in because he does give 110% to everything. And, you know, with Bray Wyatt, that dynamic is just perfect there. It was perfect. The whole thing, it was perfect. I can't fault it.
Yeah, so it was a mention on Twitter about how, like, you know, most quote unquote farewell matches, you know, it's sort of, you know, a bit of a sing to them, but like what John Cena was doing here was like bearing the soul of wrestling, and I was like, that's exactly or the soul of a wrestler, sorry, and I think that's fantastic because it showed what I think Bray Wyatt's character has been wanting to do for the longest time about breaking down characters. Because if we look at everyone that he's been involved in, it's all been about breaking down their character and sort of having a, you know, look at who they were and what they've become. And it's almost like the build up has been to this. So even though I do still think they pulled the trigger early by giving him the title,
yeah, definitely.
Because I think the story wasn't ready to be told, but it was more of a due to backlash of all the people watching, like, give him the title. If anything, I think that may have put some weird swerve into what this is now. Whether this has been the long-term plan, I don't know, but the delivery here, like, this is what The Fiend has been doing. This is what Bray Wyatt has been building to. And if we want to talk about long-term storytelling and delivering a successful story, and that's the entire thing about this show. The Young and the Restless is all about the show, about the story, and what they've delivered here perfectly culminates exactly what I love about wrestling. It's this dumb, like, it's storytelling, but it's dumb, it's stupid, it's weird. It's a story that could be told no other way.
Cheesy sitcom,
no other way. In no other medium could they tell this story. Even like the Boneyard match, right? If that was a small independent film, that would be like a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, that would be a, you know, 100% approved rotten, right? But in this world, in this setting, both these are incredible pieces of video.
They're A-grade Hollywood.
It's absolutely fantastic. And if this does happen to be what's similar, as we mentioned about Undertaker, if this does happen to be the final match for John Cena, I think it's fucking amazing.
What a hell of a way
I think
to
it's
go.
exceptional.
Yeah.
I think you
never been done before.
as I said, like, you bared the entire insides of a superstar who was the face of an entire era. You know, like, he was he was the big focus through the Ruthless Aggression era.
Literally the face of the business.
Yeah. And like and they tore that down, and they pulled it apart, and they opened it up, and they broke it down, and I think it was fucking tastic. I cannot praise these two things. Now, it's especially with this Funhouse thing. It's one of those things, like, I do wonder how this would have delivered if it wasn't under the current circumstances. So if this was a regular match, I don't know whether it would have delivered the same amount of punch.
No, I don't think it would have. But it bums me out because it really did overshadow our main event,
which was going to happen. It is one of those things, like, sometimes the penultimate is better than the ultimate. But the final match of the night was the WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar defending against Drew McIntyre. Starts up, three F5s, sorry, on Drew. First one, Drew kicks out at 1. Second one, Drew kicks out at 2. Third one, Drew kicks out at 2.8. Like, it's fucking scary shit. I was really thinking that, like, if this how they bookend Mania by, like, having Brock Lesnar hold, I would have been fuming. I would have been so mad. However, it then turns. We get a Claymore kick. He drops. We go for another Claymore kick. Brock dodges. It actually was impressive. It showed the Brock Lesnar.
Because Paul Heyman yelled out to him and let him know what was coming.
Yeah, but like it showed that Brock Lesnar has been, because Paul Heyman's talking about how Brock has been training and preparing for the Claymore kick, and we saw exactly that here. But I think it was like 3 Claymore kicks or 4 Claymore kicks. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre is your WWE Heavyweight Champion.
When he looked at the camera and he said, "Thank you," I fucking lost it. I started bawling my eyes out because even though this match was overshadowed, it was still, I was so emotionally invested in it. I was so emotionally invested in Drew McIntyre, and I cried because I am so happy and so proud for him. He has worked so hard for so long, and I was sitting there in my head just chanting, "You deserve it."
Yeah, I wish, like, this one, another one of those moments that I wish there was a crowd. But saying that, though, whenever they do that show and there is a crowd and Drew walks out with that belt, he will get that pop that he deserved. That crowd will go absolutely ballistic, and I cannot wait to see that, because it will happen, and when it does, it will be brilliant.
When they first come back out to a crowd, the crowd is going to absolutely blow the roof off of the place.
And I think that's one of those things, like, people getting pretty sour on stuff and going to shows just to boo, and I think because of the current circumstances, when everything does come back to a semi-normality, I think we'll see people be a bit more grateful about
100%.
about this stuff, and I think we'll see like a little bit of, I wouldn't say a reset button, but maybe people's approach to all of this might be a little bit different.
For sure.
The mullet show goes, and winning this way, they are essentially saying this man is stronger than Brock. He overpowered him. It basically pushes Drew right up the pecking order, because this was a clean win. Like, there was nothing dirty. There was no tactics. It was just a clean, this man is stronger, as Craig said, this man is stronger win. Because on the voice chat I had with Josh was like, is that it? Like, it doesn't seem like enough. But it's one of those things, like the matches you have with Brock, they don't go long. He's like Goldberg, but harder. You know what I mean? In terms of Goldberg had like matches that went for like 3 seconds, and where the Brock has a very similar setup with all coming in, heavy suplexes, F5s, and then you're done. But we saw him push exactly over the top of that, and it was great. And we saw Brock work hard for this one. In terms of where we see Brock deliver subpar performances in matches, here we saw him go and deliver something properly.
Yeah.
Craig goes, he took the best Brock could dish out and then destroyed him.
Yeah. 100%.
Sarah will answer your question in just a second. Also, hey. So we'll answer the question in just a sec. So, Day 2, Jem, what do you think?
I think there was more down points than ups with this one. Obviously, it was hard to follow up, especially after that Boneyard match and stuff like that. But I still think it was very solid. I'd probably give it a curtain.
Yeah, it's a curtain and a bar for me too. I've got a 1.5 out of 2. I did think it was overall pretty fantastic. To add to Sarah's question, she goes, did all the people you picked win their matches? No. And that's one of the best things about this. There were matches, there were the outcomes that we wanted, like Drew McIntyre and Mandy and Otis, and like there were some things where we're like, yeah, this is the results that we want, this is what we want to see. However, there were times that we didn't get the answers that we wanted, and I think that is a good card. So in terms of where this stands as a WrestleMania, like, will it be considered one of the best? I think it'll be considered one of the best purely under the circumstances. Like, there will be no other WrestleMania.
It's one of a kind. There's never going to be anything like it again. Never.
Now, granted, I've watched like fucking 3. Like, I've watched 2 live,
but still, I've watched my fair share, and I've never seen anything like it. I used to have watch parties at my house all the time. We'd order the pay-per-view on Foxtel, and I'd have friends over, and we'd watch it and snack and stuff. So
Sanvi also adds the triple F5. However, Brock Brock looked heaps small because I'm a UFC fan from way back when. Brock is way smaller and his legs are way tiny. Yeah. Any rumors about his health? I'm pretty sure he has like intestinal problems. There's actually a reason why he doesn't do all the leg stuff. I think it comes down to something in his abdomen.
Yeah, probably shouldn't be fighting. But.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's hence a lot of the top heavy sort of focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had diverticulitis. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
And it's because he's got caught. It's because he got caught juicing, says Dash. His intestinal stuff was the reason why he left the UFC.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Well, and I guess when you're not in the UFC, you don't have to work out your whole body. You just work out what you got.
Yeah, what you.
But Jem, upon reflection, as I try to cough a lot, let me just have a sip of water.
Mm-hmm.
Upon reflection, do you think that what we saw this year for WrestleMania will shape future WrestleManias? Like, do you think the reception of these little vignettes will...
I think they could definitely be beneficial in the future. Will they be utilized? I don't know, but I think they should be.
Yeah, and I agree. I think the difficulty is of how do they show these little 15-minute videos to a crowd of 90,000 people. Like, how do they show that to everyone? And I don't think they can.
I think going forward, they could do the same sort of thing. But, like, for instance, say a graveyard match, they could have, like, a select amount of crowd around watching what's going on and cheering on superstars.
I think the way they could...
I feel like they need that participation.
Because in terms of the editing side of it, like, it does make a better option. So maybe if they do a Falls Count Anywhere and they spew backstage, rather than having to do that live, they could pre-record that part. You know what I mean? And make it a bit tighter and make it a bit more effective. So that way they can do bigger spots. Because, like, especially when you look at an example like the Baron Corbin Elias fall from a great height spot, that worked mostly because of it being a pre-edited bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like you couldn't do that in a live format, let alone safely.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
it's tricky.
Even though I think WWE would greatly benefit from learning from this WrestleMania, I kind of don't think they will.
Yeah.
It's a weird line.
Yeah.
But anyways, that brings us to the end of WrestleMania 36, WrestleMania 2020. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the last 2 days. Having it, even though it was by myself, I did still get to share it with you, Jem, and some other dearest friends. It's very cool because
it was an experience for all of us.
Yeah, because that's the thing, and I've discussed it many times about how wrestling is for me. It's massive, but it's also a great way for me to share with my friends and the friends that mean the most, and that is a big part of WrestleMania. WrestleMania is us getting together and sharing an experience and just being with each other. And it was sad that we didn't have it that way this year, but we still found a way to adapt that. And whether it was just sharing video chat while watching it, you know, or even for the small amount of time that you were there, Jem. WrestleMania is still by far one of the greatest highlights of my year. And I do think that even under current circumstances, especially with the world being as shit as it is, this will be one of the shining beacons in this time for me. It'll be one of those things when I look back in a couple of years from now and we talk about how this pandemic and it was all fucking horrible, and then I'll be like, yeah, but in that time I had WrestleMania with my friends and we couldn't be there for couldn't be there for each other, but we were, just in a very different way. Getting all fucking emotional just thinking about it, but no, it's just cool. I like to, because I said
it is really beautiful that we can still, without physically being there, we're still connected.
And I just love sharing wrestling with you all. So that includes you. That includes you that watch this at home as well, and everyone that gets involved in the conversation with us. I love sharing wrestling with you. I love sharing the conversations that we have in chat. Everything about it. It's fantastic.
I said this while you went to the bathroom, and I just want to go back to it. We are going through a hard time together. Yeah. We are not doing this alone. We are all in this together. You know, I mentioned that I was running late because a friend of mine had a bit of a crisis, not doing well with the isolation and things like that, and she just needed somebody there. Please don't hesitate to reach out, even if it's to myself. I'm sure you're the same, Ryan. I'm always happy to hear. I'm happy to listen. I'm happy to be here. You know, we're in this together. Don't hesitate to reach out. Or if you think somebody's struggling, just reach out to your friends, reach out to your family, just say, hey, times are tough. I'm here for you. Like, listen if they need to speak. We're all going through it. Nobody's alone in this. We're all going through it in different ways, but we're doing it together. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you need help.
Maybe maybe share some wrestling with them. Maybe that's what they they may need in this rough times. Just something fucking dumb and
just something stupid and mindless, something to take your brain off things. I watched the whole fucking series of Tiger King the other day.
Oh, yeah, apparently that's really good.
Oh, it's amazing. Definitely watch.
That's my next thing, actually. That's probably what I'm going to check out next.
But yeah, it was just, you know, it was nice to be able to sit down and just binge something. And that, for me, was like a care day. That was a mental health day, to just sit down and binge watch something. And I felt so much better after it.
All right, let's wrap this bad boy. This has been one of the longest shows we've ever done. Dash goes, well, you had plenty of time to watch Tiger King. That is very true. Well, I don't.
Exactly
I still going to work, but...
it's only 7 episodes.
I'll make time. But I do have the long weekend coming up, so I might sit down and watch some crazy television. Oh, yes. And Buddy goes, Ryan, don't forget the Bucks versus Joey Ryan, Candice LeRae match. Yes. Wrestling won't be back until August. That's very likely. So we know that we know as of right now that there will be at least they've taped a post WrestleMania Raw and possibly a post WrestleMania SmackDown. So even though they were still advertising for Money in the Bank, it looks like that won't be happening. So what that means for this show, fucked if I know. We'll talk about it when the time comes. But we'll until Thursday when you hear us talk about Raw, we'll we'll go through the show. This has been our WrestleMania recap review. Thank you so much for joining with us. Thank you for sharing your time with us. It's a long show, so thank you so much. This conversation. Our usual wrestling conversations, our shows come at you on a Tuesday morning for SmackDown. It's 8 a.m. podcast services, 9 a.m. YouTubes. Thursday for Raw, same times, 8 a.m. podcast, 9 a.m. 9 a.m. on the YouTubes. If you want to join the conversation, head over to facebook.com/group/popculturist, Twitch, Discord, Instagram, all those links are down below area. If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist where you can watch us record this show live and get in the chat, just like Buddy did, just like Dash did, just like Sarah did, just like Fid McAwesome and Dad Bod and Josh and Craig had a big turnout today. It was absolutely fantastic. It was brilliant.
Thank you.
And one thing we'd like to do is to share the conversation, tell your friends, tell your family about this little show. Maybe it can help them in this little circumstance, little tough times. But yeah, it's all good. But if for any reason you did want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store at popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. And until the Raw after WrestleMania, I'm Ryan Betson.
And I'm Jem.
We'll see you then.
Bye.
The Young and the Restless, the Pop Culturist WWE podcast, is fan support over at Patreon at patreon.com/thepopculturist. And we'd like to thank our Patreon producers and our Patreon founders for their kindness, their support, and their generosity. Our Patreon founders: Alpha Ferret, Craig O'Flaherty, David Chataway, Jesse Stevenson, and Jacob Garner. And our Patreon producers: AJ Abatomi, Damian Holdies, Kyle Dunn, Lee Wintershoven, Nathan Massetti, Paul James, Pure Mongrel, and Sean Levitt.